Hi, and welcome to this video on keyword searching search strategies. Let's start with a quick recap of our keyword basics video. You are keyword searching when you are typing in only the words that are most essential to describe your topic, whether that be in an internet search engine like Google, or the library catalog, or the library databases. While Google is pretty liberal, the library catalog and the databases are not. They are simply playing a matching game. So they are looking for an exact match on every word that you type into that search box. If it doesn't find an exact match on every word, then an item won't show up in your search results. So it's really important to pare down the words in your search box to just the ones that are most important. There is one minor exception, and that is that most databases can handle simple plurals. So for example, if your keyword is the word person, obviously you would find a match on the word person, but it would also consider the word persons to be an exact match as well. So persons plural with just an S added to the end. What it cannot do is make the leap to plural words that are different words altogether. So for example, a keyword search on the word person will not find a match on the word people. So keep that in mind as you're keyword searching. Let's look at a few examples of this matching game in action. The more you can think like a database, the better you'll be able to manipulate it and have more successful searching. So pause the video as you need to in order to read each screen and get the most out of each exercise. If you were to type in as a keyword the word tooth, looking at A, B, and C, which one or ones of these options would be an exact match to a keyword search on the word tooth? Looking at examples A and B, you can see that they both use the word tooth, so they are exact matches and they will show up in your search results. C, however, uses the word teeth, and that's too much of a different plural form of the word tooth for the database to consider it a match. So C will not show up in your search results. Let's look at another example. We'll go back to our meditation topic from the keyword basics video. First, we need to decide what our keywords are. Previously, we decided that they were meditation and the word stress. So if we typed in these two keywords into the search box, now the database needs to find a match on two words in order for something to show up in the search results. So looking at A, B, and C, which one or ones would be considered a match for this keyword search? Let's go through each one. Looking at A, we can see that it uses the word mindfulness instead of the word meditation. So it's a similar idea, but obviously not an exact match. It also uses the word stressors, and that's not an exact match for the word stress either. It's a different form of the word, but it's too different a word for the database to consider it a match. Looking at B, we can see that it has an exact match on the word meditation and stress. So B will show up in our search results. Looking at C, we can see that there's a match on the word stress, but again, we see that it's used different forms of the word meditation. It uses meditating and meditators. So that would not be considered an exact match, and since C does not have an exact match on both words, it will not show up in our search results. Let's look at one more example. This time our topic is whether or not homeschooling affects someone's chances at college. So first, we need to decide what our keywords would be. The important ideas for this topic are homeschooling and college, so those would be our keywords. Now we have a keyword search with 3 keywords, and so the database would need to find a match on all 3 words in order for something to show up in our search results. So looking at A, B, and C, which ones would actually come back as search results? A has a match on the words home, schooling, and college, so it would actually show up in our search results. There's a little problem with A, however, which is that it's not actually on our topic. So it would not be of any help if we were doing a research paper on whether or not homeschooling affects someone's chances at college. B has a match on the word colleges and the word home, but it uses a different form of the word school than we typed in. So the database would not consider schooled to be an exact match for the word schooling. So B will not be in our search results. Looking at C, there's a match on the word college, but they use the word homeschooling as one word. We typed it in as 2 words, so that would not be considered an exact match either. So C will also not show up in our search results. So there are some problems with this matching game that the databases are playing, and I think it's one of the reasons that people get so frustrated using them. Stay tuned for part B of our search strategies video, and we'll learn the ways that you can work around these problems with the databases. As always, if you have any questions, feel free to stop by, call, or email the library. We're always happy to help you out.